Hello, gorgeous people. It has been a while since I posted a video on this channel, and I am so stoked to share the new style of movement that I'm teaching called somatics. So today I'm going to be taking you through a sequence called the flower. This is to balance the front and the back of your body, mobilize the chest and the shoulders, and relax the hips and the low back. All that you need is a mat, unless of course it's uncomfortable for you to lay on your back. If so, take support underneath your knees, a roller or a pillow, or support underneath your head, and try not to move into pain. Something to know about this practice is that it's more about relaxing than it is about moving. So let the movements be small. Pay attention to how you feel as you come out of it, and take lots of space to rest. If you want to learn a bit more, jump on my website. I have blog posts, I have classes, and just tons of information about it. And without further ado, take a moment to set an intention, make a dedication, and we will see you on your mat. You can begin by taking a couple sips of air in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time, and exhale. Begin to let go. Let go of your day. Let go of anything that happened before you got here, or anything that you might have to do after. Find your way into your body, your breath, and this moment. Beginning to tune into the back of your skull. Notice where your skull meets the mat. Pay attention if you're holding anything up using your neck or your shoulders, and just feel how relaxed your head is into the mat and how much of your skull is pressed down. And then follow the curve of your cervical spine and just notice how much space you think is between your cervical spine and the ground. And following the curve of the cervical spine down through the shoulders, and noticing where the shoulder blades make contact on the earth, and how much of the shoulder blades make contact on the earth. Bring your awareness down your arms to your palms, and just notice if one arm feels longer than the other or shorter than the other, if you sense any tightness, and bring that awareness up to your shoulders again and through your center, and just noticing if you sense a tilt or a heaviness to one side of the rib cage, and then assessing each rib as it rests down on the mat. And once you get to your lowest rib, notice how your spine lifts up and curves away from the mat. Think about how much space is underneath your spine. The columns on the left side and the right side of your low back and your waist. And bringing awareness into your tailbone and your pelvic area. Just scan for any tension in the hips and the bum. And take a moment to feel how much of your tailbone is making contact with the earth. From your tailbone, bring your awareness down your legs, noticing the lift underneath your knees, where your calves make contact, the lift underneath your ankles, where your heels make contact, in the direction that your feet point. You might notice that one leg feels longer than the other, and scan your way back up to the center of your body. Start with your tailbone and then move into your waistline and see if you can sense any twisting or shortening to one side or the other. And with this awareness, just let things be, remembering that this is a non-judgmental practice, and we're just assessing how we feel at this beginning, and imagining that you're laying on a warm sandy beach, and the sand is coming up around you and just wrapping around your limbs. And if you were to float up and look down at the sand, what imprint would you leave behind? Gently bend your knees and place your feet hip distance apart. And we don't want to bring our feet so close to our bum that our back is really arched or so far from, or really flattened or so far from our bum that our back is super arched, just somewhere in the middle. And we're going to start by moving into the green light reflex. So place your hands on your lower belly between your pubic bone and your belly button. Let your elbows be relaxed. And I want you to imagine that there is a bowl of water in your pelvis with the base sitting on your tailbone and the open part of the bowl facing towards the ceiling. And as you take your next breath in, gently roll your hips down as if you were going to pour that bowl of water between your feet. Notice as the low back lifts and the spine curves up, how the back contracts and becomes slightly tighter. And on your next exhale, feel your back gently relax down into the mat again, coming to a rested spine. Take an extra breath here and just notice if you're holding anything that you don't need. And taking this movement a second time, gently roll the tailbone down towards the heels. Feel the bum spread apart as the back lifts. Notice if more of the spine lifts up and see if you can soften between your belly button and your genitals, and between your ribs and your belly button. And then allow yourself to feel your back soften to a rested, neutral position. Just allowing things to very softly and sweetly release. Slide your hands up between your belly button and your rib cage onto your solar plexus. And we're going to take this same movement. So as you breathe in, gently lift your spine and roll your tailbone down. Feel your bum spread and your tailbone become heavy on the mat. And take a big breath into the flesh underneath your hands. And as you exhale, just allow your back to really soften down and let go. Letting go of anything that you don't need. And take an extra round of inhale and exhale here just to see if you're still holding anything that might be able to soften. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Now we're going to do a slight recalibration of the pelvis. So I want you to notice if one side feels heavier into the mat as you arch. And keeping the majority of your low back on the mat, just roll your hips slightly over to that side. So if it's the left side, the right hip will lift up maybe 1 inch off the ground or a few centimeters, or if it's the right side, the left hip will feel a little bit higher. And taking that arch from the center again, as you breathe in, gently lift your spine towards the ceiling, softening the belly, letting it lift and spread. You might notice your head and your neck starts to roll down, and allowing yourself to soften your entire back as you come out of this. Noticing if you feel more sensation in one side of your back as you rolled over to the side, and just allowing your pelvis to come to neutral. And then gently rocking your hips over to the opposite side. And taking that same arch, rolling your back up towards the ceiling. You'll notice your hips and your head roll down towards your heels as your front body lifts up. Breathing into the diaphragm, the low belly, the chest, and allowing yourself to just smoothly soften everything down. Noticing if the back is spreading a little bit more, if you feel like you have more space in the mat. And then bringing the hands onto the chest just below the collarbone. And taking the same movement, but just start with the chest. Breathe into the chest and then lift the spinal column between the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Notice how the head rolls down and the chin comes close to the throat. Let your belly soften and your tailbone roll with it. And then allow yourself to soften back to neutral, just letting the entire back relax, the front relax, and allowing this to be really gentle, really simple. Allow your legs to extend long and your arms to fall from the side. And we are going to take just a few breaths and rest. Feeling for any little jiggles, any sensations of spreading or relaxing, and knowing that things might feel a little funny, but we want to resist that feeling to fix it and just let our body rest in this gentle position. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground again, hip distance apart. And we're going to move into the red light reflex. And we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up again. So placing your hands on your low belly between your genitals and your belly button. Take that visualization of a bowl of water again, with the top of the bowl facing towards the ceiling and the base of the bowl being your tailbone. Except this time, we'll start with our inhale, soften anything that we don't need. And as you exhale, tilt that bowl so that the water would pour into your belly button. Your back spreads into the mat and the hips gently roll up. This doesn't have to be a super big movement. And then allow yourself to soften out, letting the low belly relax, the low back, allowing everything to let go. And taking this movement a second time, start with a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, sink your low back down. Let your hips gently roll up towards the ceiling. Feel your belly engage and your back spread into the mat. And then allow yourself to soften your belly, soften your back, and just let your hips roll to neutral. Slide your hands up from your low belly to your solar plexus and let your thumbs be on your lowest rib. Now we want to think about our spine moving into sort of a canoe shape. And a part of this is pressing our waistline into the mat. So we'll start with a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, gently guide your hands down into your solar plexus and spread your back into the mat. Let the hip bones gently curve up as the back flattens down, and notice that contraction in the waist. See if you can soften the back a little bit more. And then let it go. Let your belly fill with breath and everything that you contracted to soften and release. And then bringing your hands onto your low ribs, just underneath where your breasts or your pec tissue would be. And we're going to make this movement a little bit bigger. So start with your inhale. And as you exhale, sink your rib cage down into the mat. Feel your ribs stitch together, your belly compress, your chest slope down, and your hips and your collarbones will sort of tilt up and in towards each other. Feeling that contraction. And then allowing yourself to just so softly spread and relax out. Letting go of the chest, the belly, the pelvis, and just feeling everything be what it wants to be. And then sliding your hands up towards your rib cage, just underneath your collarbone. We're going to concentrate on the slope of the rib cage and the chest. Start with your inhale, just softening anything that you don't need. And as you exhale, support your pinky fingers down into your chest and slope your rib cage, your chest down towards your belly button. Allow your shoulders to curl up and in towards your center. Flatten your low back into the mat and let your hip bones turn up. Feel that sort of hollowing through your center. And then allow the muscles in your front just to really slowly let go. Feeling that spreading, that opening, that relaxing, and that just being. Allow your arms to fall by the sides and let your legs stay bent. And we're just gonna work a little bit into the neck and the head roll. Sometimes the easiest way to understand this is just to look at the ceiling while you do this, and your head will naturally roll the way it needs to. But what we want to do is tilt our hips and our pelvis in the same direction, and they should almost work as like a chain. So start with your soft inhale, just letting go of anything you might be holding in your body. And as you exhale, sink your belly, your ribs, your back into the mat, and then allow your chin to tilt up and your forehead to roll back. And then thinking about yourself as like you're a turtle in your shell with as many breaths as you need, gently coil the back of your neck into your body as you sink your center down, shoulders curl in, and then allow yourself to soften out and let go. Extend your legs long. And just take a few breaths in the red light reflex. You're in rest. Take a few breaths out of the red light reflex and into rest. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground again. And we're going to concentrate on the upper body. So extend your arms just a little bit wider. Not so high that they're shoulder level, but just a bit lower than that. And I want you to place your fingers to touch the insides of each other so that you kind of have like a Barbie hand. And thinking about your arms lengthened out to the side, as if the wrist, the fingers, the arm bone, and the upper arm bone are all just in a straight line. Start with a deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently rotate your thumbs downwards and inwards towards your body. Allow your arms to roll inwards so that the back of your hands face your hips and your shoulders roll in. Now relax the front of your throat. And very slowly uncoil your arms and allow the front of your chest to relax. Allow your entire forearms, your upper arms to relax, and take a deep breath in and a full breath out. Another long deep inhale. And as you exhale, gently roll the thumbs inwards and downwards again. Feel the shoulder blades slide away from each other and then sink and slope the chest bone down towards the belly button. Feel the abdominals engage as many breaths as you need in this position. And then allow yourself to gently soften it out. Let it go. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, sink your ribs, your belly down. Let your hips and your collarbones move in towards each other. And then roll your thumbs down and in, coming into this red light reflex as if a flower is closing its petal. And then let the back of your neck shorten and squish down into your back, and let the chin tilt up towards the ceiling, kind of like a turtle sinking into its shell. If you can, take a out with your breath and press down your diaphragm. And then very slowly uncoil, relax, and let it go. Beautiful. Extend your legs long and give yourself a few moments to rest. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, and we're going to take that movement in the opposite direction. So keeping your arms extended, gently roll your thumbs back away from you so that your palms turn up, and continue to turn your arms so your shoulder blades become heavy. They move towards each other and the chest spreads. And then just as mindfully as you moved in, allow your thumbs to relax, your arms to rotate, and your chest and your back to relax to neutral. Taking as many breaths as you need to move in and out, and just allowing yourself to be. Let's take this movement a second time. On your next breath in, rotate your arms away from you. Feel the shoulder blades become heavy and maybe press out your belly. Feel your back lift and notice if your chin moves down towards your throat. And then allow yourself to really soften the back, the muscles between the shoulder blades, the muscles underneath the armpits that connect to the shoulder blades, and just let it all go. On your next inhale, gently guide your rib cage up towards your chin. And let your hips roll down towards your heels so your whole back arches. Continue to rotate your thumbs out away from you. Shoulder blades move in towards each other. Feeling that engagement, and then continue to breathe here and just see if you can soften your chest. You can soften your mid belly, your low belly, and allow the arch to occur in your back without pain. And then allow yourself to soften your entire back, your arms, your shoulders, your chest. Let your head just naturally roll back to a neutral position, and give yourself some space to be. Extending your legs long and taking your breath nice and smooth. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, hip distance apart, and we're going to move from the lower body. And we're going to continue into our arch, our green light reflex. So as you breathe in, gently tilt your tailbone down, let your belly lift and soften, and then let your knees come out just a little bit so you feel the weight transfer into the outer edges of your feet. And as you relax back to neutral, allow your knees to move back in towards each other with control. Feeling the back soften and allowing everything to let go. And so we want this movement to connect the center to our legs. So as you breathe in and roll your tailbone down, pay attention to how your legs separate. If they can smoothly move apart with control, remembering this doesn't need to be big. And then allowing yourself to very smoothly bring your knees together. And if you feel that thumping or those sort of like jiggliness in the movement, that's just a good indicator that you can slow down and make this smaller. And then taking this movement a third time, fill your belly, lift it towards the ceiling, and let the knees move out to the side. And then allowing yourself to return to neutral, feeling the back relax and spread as you come back to a rested spine. And then from here, we're going to take this movement in the opposite direction. So start with a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, bring your knees together and flatten your back into the mat, letting your legs squeeze in towards each other, belly engages, and then soften out. Letting your knees come apart and your belly to relax. And if it makes it easier, just place your hands on your pelvis for awareness. So starting with a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, press your hands down into your belly and let your low back become light off of the mat as you roll and sink down your waistline. Let your legs move together, your knees to touch, feel that engagement. And then allow yourself to soften your inner thighs, your pelvis, your low belly, your whole front body as you move out of this position. And taking this movement one more time, start with an inhale, soften anything that you don't need. And as you exhale, roll your tailbone towards your belly button. Let your legs squeeze together, let the front of your body sink down, chest slopes down, head rolls back. And then allow yourself to return to neutral, just allowing everything to soften out and let go. Extend your arms long and your legs long, and just give yourself some space to breathe. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground. And we're going to move in between the arch and flatten and turn this into a flower. So starting from the center, as you inhale, lift your spine towards the ceiling and let your head and your hips roll down towards your heels. And then as you exhale, sink your back into the mat and let your head and your hips roll back towards the top edge of your mat. And then changing directions as you breathe in, letting your spine lift, head and hips become heavy and roll down. And then changing directions as the spine flattens, the hips and the head roll back towards the top edge of the mat. And then breathing in, lift the spine up and stay. Let the knees come apart. Keep breathing as many breaths as you need and roll the thumbs away from you so that your shoulder blades become heavy and move towards each other. And then as you exhale, roll your thumbs in towards each other, your body, flatten your back into the mat and squeeze your legs together, moving the opposite direction, closing everything in. Belly sinks, back relaxes. And then softening to neutral, relaxing the chest, the belly, the legs. And we're going to move in and out of that sequence just a few more times. So as you breathe in, lift the spine, roll the thumbs and the knees away from you like you're a flower opening up its petals. And then as you exhale, sink the spine, roll the thumbs and the legs in towards each other and flatten the back into the mat, legs squeezing together. As you breathe in, gently soften the whole front of the body. Let the chest open, let the tailbone roll down, let the knees open, feeling your chin and your tailbone roll down. And then changing directions, rolling the thumbs down and in, the knees squeeze together and the back sinks down, letting your spine sort of tilt into a canoe shape. Head will roll back, hips will roll towards the chin. And then just switching directions a few times in between the movements and just allowing your body to work as one system. Move as slowly or as quickly as you need as you massage your internal organs and just allow everything to let go. And the next time you move into your red light, so roll the thumbs and the knees in, soften the tongue into the bowl of your mouth. Let your jaw relax. And the next time you move into your green light reflex, press the tongue into the top of the mouth, right behind the front teeth, and just notice how that changes the engagement in the neck. And if that feels comfortable as you move in and out, continue to take those movements. And just one more round each way. And when you're ready, softening out. Extend your legs and your arms. Take any support that you might need. And taking a couple sips of air in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time. And let go. And starting from the back of your skull, notice the part of your skull that's making contact with the mat and how much of it is there. And then noticing the curve of your cervical spine. Feeling from the lift of your shoulders down through your ribs. And then following all the way down the line of the arms and back up to the center. And sensing if there is a change in space in your upper quadrant, if you still sense any twisting or shortness. Sometimes we might feel more or different, and if that's the case, that's okay. And just notice if the breath moves more freely. And then from here, just noticing all of your ribs as they touch to the mat and where they lift up. And then following that lift through your lower spine, the columns to either side of your spine and your waist, and just thinking about how much space exists between you and the mat now. And bringing your awareness to your tailbone. The back of your legs, your bum, your hips, the thighs, the curve underneath the knees, the calf muscles, the curve underneath to the heels, and the direction that the toes point, and bringing that awareness back up through center and just sensing if there's been a change in your lower body, if it feels more even, more relaxed, and imagining that you are resting on a warm sandy beach once again. And the sand is just wrapping around you and gently creating a mold of your shape. And if you were to float up and look down at what your imprint looks like now, what would be different? And whatever came up for you today, just honoring your practice, celebrating any wonderful changes that might have occurred, and honoring yourself and allowing yourself this time for rest. How are you feeling? Hopefully pretty relaxed. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this practice and you're interested in learning more, head over to my website. I'm teaching some online sessions. I'm also writing blog posts and making tutorials so that you can learn more. Thank you as always for practicing with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Be safe, make good decisions, and lots of love.